Yo, good morning. So one time I had the phone tilted like maybe at an 80-degree angle, and it made the whole video horizontal. It was weird. But yeah, we back on the trail. By the way, tonight is the last live stream. It is like the live stream that you have to be, well, you don't have to be there, but it's the last one because I will start working sometime this week. So that's the reason. And depending on how I feel when I get to the house, I might do something special, but I don't know. I got other stuff to do. Let's see here. I don't know if I ever walked straight from my house to here, but it's like a good 10, 15 minutes. And I have all these thoughts, but when I get here, I forget them all. And I'm like, did I talk about it? But we'll start with my dream. So I had a dream last night, right? And it was a dream that I was already in. So it was like a rerun or whatever. And in the dream, everyone falls over. Buildings fall, or it's a dream. But anyway, I was in the dream and I realized I'm in the dream and I was trying to escape the dream. But you know how, or at least TV, you try to explain, yo, we got to get out because, and they're like, how do you know? And it's like, because I have a feeling. So I just escaped, and there was a bike that I was going to steal, but it was chained up. And then I started walking down the street to get to higher ground, and I woke up. So that's a pretty good dream. When you know you're dreaming, it's a segue to life is like a dream. I mean, you keep doing the same thing over and over again, right? But when you start to see the patterns, signals, the signs, it makes you a crazy person because you usually are alone and seeing the signs and patterns. And that could actually get you killed in certain circles, you know? Certain places in the world. And if you watch most, I want to say, Hollywood movies, it's usually that one person finds out something and blah, 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 blah. But yeah. So, the other day, I got this message. The message said, hey, Matt, I saw the video you posted about your dad and milking cows. You're 40 now. Have you ever thought about having kids? Period. Something to that effect. And when I made the video about the argument I had with my dad, it's a serious thing. It was an argument. Now, I'm not like yelling and crying and carrying on because, that's not what I do. But, it was really annoying, stressful, because but that's what this person, who I've met a couple times, I invited him to my birthday party in Japan, what have you, events and all that. That's what they thought. That was what they took from it, which is it's a good point. That nobody really cares about you. I can't say nobody. People do care about you, but it's usually through the lens of how they view life. So if that's important to him, then that's how he or she, depending, whoever's making the comments, that's how they're going to see it. So if someone is all about the bass, bass, that's all they're going to talk about. You could be a little trebly, and they're just going like, hey man, I'm all about that bass. Doesn't matter what you do. And it's pointless to kind of convince someone who's all about the bass, or all about the Benjamin, or all about You get my point. Because that's their thing. My dad's all about milking cows. That's his thing. I'm all about enlightenment. That's my thing. How annoying would I be if this is my channel and I'm talking about my stuff. But imagine if I went to a birthday party for like a 7-year-old. It's a 7-year-old's birthday party. And everyone's like, happy birthday. Oh, stop. And I start going on about whatever that's antithetical, maybe. It goes against what they're celebrating. Why would I do that? I might be driven by, I just think it's important for young kids to understand it's young. They don't need Barbies. They'd be weird. Right? I think so. But yeah, so, and normally when someone writes me something and it's just like, come on, really? I want to write like this big old monologue. But you know what? People don't read. People don't read books. And I say people loosely. I know people read. A lot of people don't read. Let's say it that way. But in general, if someone writes like a 3-second analysis of whatever they think is the solve for that, they're not going to read 15 pages of, 15 pages of why you think otherwise. So it's almost, it's pointless because they're not asking. I say they. I get this. Now, sometimes they post on my page, but sometimes they're sending me direct messages. Sometimes they're doing this in real life. And in general, they're not really asking me for my reasoning. They're telling me what I should do because they think it's great. And I thought of this as I think of a lot of stuff. I want to understand it. And here's what I came to understand. These things, like, I thank them because I wouldn't have thought of these. Like, my mind is kind of, if I didn't have this thing in my head, I'd be thinking about something else. There's a lot to think about. Like, the leaves are turning brown already. Like, summer's almost. Anyway. So, I didn't do the research because I didn't. But there's like 6 core values that we have. Again, don't quote me. But there's health, there's spirituality, finance, family, friends, and I believe the 6th one is contributing to the world or something. And ideally, we're supposed to have a nice balance within these 6 things. This is according to some people, right? Now, in general, when people are giving me advice that I didn't ask for, unsolicited, I kind of look back at this chart. Financial health, physical health, spirituality. And if they're not balancing that, it's like, fix yourself first. But that's one explanation. At least that's something that could be like pulled up on the internet. But another idea I was coming up with is, if said person is not 40-ish, around my age, sporting a kind of homeless beard like me, and they can't spit bars, make beats, they are not taking care of one, like, it has to be so one-to-one for me to like care what you got to say. You say, well, that's not, but why would I care? Like, you wouldn't, like, you might love football, but are you going to watch curling? It's a sport. It got an Olympic thing. They get a medal at the end, right? But if you don't care about it, you don't want to hear about it. It's not something that you are. But anyway, so I was thinking, oh, I'm going to say all this and I'm going to say all that. And I'm trying to think of the best way to write it. And I always try to be grammatically correct, because that kind of takes away from a thing when people are making all types of little stupid mistakes and using emojis and all that good shit. But then I was just like, why? Done. I'll never respond, or I don't respond, or I give them a thanks for watching. And then life goes on. Like it's such a wonderful feeling. 'Cause I saw one time, because on Instagram you could see who posts or who's responding, and I saw this person like just going in on someone, writing like this big old paragraph that no one's gonna read. I didn't even read. Like, why are you arguing with a no person? But yeah, man. Moving on. So here's a schedule. I was thinking about it coming down here. The Tuesday talks, those will be finished tonight. That's the last one. Walk-in talks, I'm assuming if things line up the way they should be, I'll be teaching 3 days a week, and I'll be doing the night job like 3 days a week, alternating, and then help taking care of my dad whenever. So I don't know how that's going to line up. So I don't know if I'll be consistent like that. But what I could do is make one video a week, and then just make a bunch of little videos. I don't know, but once a week, once a week, put them up, either once a week or once a month, just for consistency, update, for those who want to be updated. But yeah, I won't know. So last night I had to call Japan. I had to get a Skype account. Although I saw another, because back in the day, Skype was the de facto if you want to call overseas. I mean, you can use your phone. I once used my cell phone to call America because I had some issue back then, and the bill was $1,000. And I was like, oh, I could have used Skype. Darn. But so first I had to call my first company I worked at, because the first company I worked at, they transferred me to their sister company, and that shit is nasty. Like the little light, the lantern bugs. Anyway, so they transferred me to their sister company, and then my new job needs to get a child abuse form from every job I worked at. And the company I worked at doesn't exist anymore. So I was calling the first company that hired me if they had any information. So the guy, he picks up, it goes through a Japanese secretary, and I'm like, can I speak to an English manager? Wait, segue. Someone's gonna say, you lived in Japan for 15 years and you can't speak Japanese? Oh my God. And people do that. It's so weird. And my retort is, you lived in a world and know that people are not like you? Go somewhere. But anyway, and then the manager gets on the phone, and he's like, I told him my situation. He's like, yeah, I sent the form out last week. I was like, oh yeah, well, when I'm explaining the situation, he's just like on his computer looking to see if he could find the company. He's like, yeah, they don't exist. I can't find them. And he was just super helpful. And he's like, is there anything else? And he's like, by the way, when you came here, now this is 15 years ago, right? He's like, I remember you. When you came, you were doing like DJ stuff. Well, first he was just like, I remember you. Like, how the hell you remember me 15 years from now? Who's at the same company 15 years in Japan? But then he's like, yeah, you did DJ stuff. I'm like, yeah. Like, how'd that go out for you? And I was just like, the Guinness record, da-da-da-da. He's like, wow, that's really great. And then I ended with that when I first came, I wasn't so keen to teach. It was more like I teach English in the day, I make music at night. I'm here to make music and teaching keeps me here, something like that. But when I left, I was just like, I really like teaching. I really like empowering these young little brains, getting them ready for the world. You know? And he's like, yeah, it's really cool. And then he hang up. And then I had to call so that was a 15-year ago company. And now I'm calling the company 6 months ago company. All right. And I call, I get a secretary, and she was just, how may I help you? I said, can I speak to like a manager or somebody, HR or something? Like, there's no one here. I'll have them call you back. Like, I'm in America, miss. She's like, oh no. Like, it's just so. And then she's just like, give me your email. I'll send it to everybody. Everybody will get your message. So I send her my email, and then she emails me back. She's just like, okay, thank you so much for your call. Like, I miss that. Now, I lived in Japan 15 years. I ain't gonna sit here and say every conversation on the phone is like that. I've been hung up on. I've been on the phone for like an hour to get a call back tomorrow. But, that's my 15 years. Maybe if I was in America straight 15 years, I would, whatever. But now I'd be on the phone and it'd be like I called Jamaica. I mean, it's not America, but I called Jamaica because my dad needed something, passport. Yeah, not that he's going to travel or anything. No, birth certificate. Yeah, because he lost it or something. Good morning. And I called and I'm just like, hi, I have some questions about getting a renewed birth certificate. The lady's like, it's on the website. Is there anything else? I said, I know it's on the website. I read it, but I'm a little confused. It's on the website. Can I help you? Like, she just did not want to, like, as if she was like a line of people are in front of her right now with guns to her head. And she's like trying to signal. It's on the website. Please get me some help. But, you know, different culture, different times, whatever. But, or maybe it's just nostalgia. I miss that interaction. Again, it's not always great. They'd be too kind sometimes. But, yeah. So, I'm waiting to hear back from the company 6 months ago. But the company 15 years ago was on top of that shit. And then when we finished, he's just like, if you need anything, I'm on standby. Like, what? Like, I worked for him for 1 year. I worked for them. The second company, I remember them, man. They hated me. I hated them. They were such a shitty little company. Shitty little company. Anyway. So, the other day, we're going to call this milking the cow. That's going to be the thing. So, milking the cow. So, after that conversation, I called my aunt, my dad's sister. And, you know, I don't remember talking to her outside if she comes to the house and we might talk. But this time when I came home for Christmas, I think after the funeral, she was asking me, like, what did I do in Japan? Like, she was asking questions that no one ever asks. And it's like, oh, you're in Japan. But not, what did you do in Japan? How do you feel in Japan? What's like life in Japan? Blah, blah. I mean, for guys, they're going to ask me, so, are the girls really all about black guys in Japan? Yeah. That's the thing. Females, I don't know, they don't really ask me about it so much. I don't know. But yeah, so I called her up just to kind of preemptive, because what could have happened, it didn't happen, but what could have happened, I would wake up in the morning and my dad would still be talking about milking the cow. And I would be still, even though I had reset it and slept and had a fresh mind, I still would feel, what the hell are you still talking about the cows? And I can't say that to my dad, but I would just it just wouldn't be a nice atmosphere to be in. So I might have just left the house for like 24 hours, which is not a nice. You do if you do, and you're damned if you damn. You're damned if you damn, and you're damned if you. Segue, right? So when I tell people about my situation, it could be any situation. It's interesting, the idea that they come up with. Ideas that they know wouldn't work for their own family. Like, they know that. They just, like, someone with a big old stomach, and they're not pregnant, they just got a big old stomach, and they're like, man, I feel like, I gotta go to the gym, and they start hyping you up. Yeah, you should go to the gym, man. But then you're looking at them, and it's like, why don't you go to the gym? They go, I can't go to the gym. I got a doctor. So, man, ain't no doctor saying no one can go to the gym. But it's like one of those things. It's like, they can give you advice, but they don't take your advice. Now, me, in general, my advice is pretty bleak. It's like, hey, if you don't like what said person is saying, ignore them. But ignore them. Get a match, burn that bridge, and keep it moving. Problem solved. You can't live, and like, you can't do that. Yes, you can. It's not a law. You got to do that thing. Or my favorite used to be, well, what if it doesn't work out for you? Then you're going to be homeless. You're going to be sleeping out under the bridge. People hated that one. But that's if you believe in what you believe in, you're going to see it through. Look at me. I'm doing that. Yeah, I know. That's why I respect you. Well, if you respect me, then get on board with this extremeness. But, I tone it down. I don't necessarily want to live under the bridge because there's bugs, and I don't like bugs. In a bug-free world, yeah. Like, Japan has bugs, of course, but there's been times when I missed the last train, and I'll just find like a little corner to sleep in, and I'll just go to sleep. Interesting, right? But so I was talking to my aunt and just telling her all this stuff, and she's like, oh wow. And I brought up some points. I said, we didn't really. I was saying it kind of like this. I didn't expect to come home from Japan and go fishing with my dad, because we never went fishing. I didn't expect to come home and blah, 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 because within my family, we never did these things. It just wasn't a thing to be done. And I could surmise that my grandfather and my grandfather's grandfather, let's skip the generation, but there's a whole history of ain't nobody ever done it before. My generation or my kids will get it or maybe my invisible kids won't get it because all the examples I've seen prior have been so, I just don't want to, but that's another topic, another story. But, so yeah, I get that. I don't like it. But I was just saying, I didn't have no birthday parties growing up. I had 3 or 4 I can remember. There's a picture. I think my mom took me to McDonald's once. Good morning. But it's, few and far. There's no Sweet 16 type things going on in the Bailey household. So I was just telling my aunt this, and basically I was just saying, I'm here to make sure that my dad does not fall over and be saying, help, help, help. And someone's like, why don't you get one of those little buttons? Because my dad doesn't want one. Like, I guess for any idea that you could throw at me, put it with, why do police keep killing people? Or why do young people get ARs and shoot people? Throw your ideas at that. Why did the gun company do this? If it sounds absurd in that regards, or impossible, or whatever, apply it to the story. Because if it was that easy, like, just, it would be done. Like, done. Like, here's one. I mean, I brought this up before, but my dad is currently waiting for the water bill to come so he could write the check. Now, someone's like, why don't you just do it online? You don't think I pay my bills online? You think I'm going to sit down and write a check and wait 2 weeks for that? Pay it online, done. But my dad doesn't want to do that. And you can't force another human being to do stuff. And yeah, I could be dastardly, and just kind of do it. Get the bill before it comes online and pay it before it comes to the house. But that would be taking away his freedom. And that's not what I'm about. Even for little kids. You know, let them have their ways and stuff, but don't. Anyway, but I was talking to my aunt, and she's like, yeah, growing up, we didn't have birthdays in 1933 era, circa Jamaica. You know, we've seen them on TV when we passed people's houses with TVs, like Christmases and all that shit. So the life was like that. And that's just the way it was. And and I was saying, like, you know, my aunt was saying that she never said she loved her. She never heard her parents say, I love you. She never got hugs from her parents. Like, it's just that kind of time for my family. Maybe down the street, they're on some lovey-dovey, blah-de-blah, boom. But not my. So it would come down generations where I don't know if my dad could break the generational thing. It's hard. We are what we are, right? So it makes everything just much harder because, well, it makes it hard, but if you accept it, you can work with that. What I can't accept is, I guess I could accept that people are still going to say whatever they're going to say because that's what people say, accept that, but I don't want to hear it. You know? I can't accept. Okay, I guess I can't accept it. Put things in my ears. But, I saw Venus. It's a great one. So according to some guy who was watching me, I should know every black athlete because I'm in America and I'm black because I lived here for a couple years, 6 months when I moved back. But I don't know which one it is. One of them are retiring, one of the sisters. And she said they have a picture of her when she's like 5 or 7 or something. And she's just going on, I want to be a tennis player. And now she's probably, I guess she is one of the greatest tennis players, female tennis players of all time. Something like that. But it's always like, could she have done it without the support of her family? Like, could she just like if she was born in some area where there was no tennis courts, the closest tennis court was like 10 miles on the other side. Is she gonna walk all the way over there? And then let's say she's really good, but would her parents be able to afford to get her the extra? Probably not. And she might have been the best, had the potential to be the best, but it would have been very difficult due to her circumstances. Not taking anything from her, just saying we are nature nurture, man. That interesting balance of circumstances and timing. Like, I don't think you'll find another person like me living in my city. Like, a lot of unique individuals here, but my perspective is kind of my perspective, uniquely mine. So the other day, right, I've been doing this for years. New thoughts, new angle. I read that in a book. Bill Clinton used to do that. Former President Bill Clinton. When you give a speech, you can watch TED Talks. They use the space to add to the story. So if they say, in the past, they might actually step a couple steps back. When they're talking about truth, they might go to the left and lies to the right. It's like an extra layer on top of thing. When they want to make it personal, they might step closer. I was telling my kids, because I would help them with their speeches, and I would drop this in there. And they're like, what? I just want to know how to spell the words and say them correctly and get perfect pronunciation. But it's more than that, I would say. You gotta da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da-da. Some teachers, like, whatever. When I would leave the room, they go back to getting them to say the words perfect. And I come back the next day, and it's like, what happened to the motions and the gestures? But yeah, today's Tuesday, but I don't have therapy with my therapist. I do like having it twice a week, because then I could like break up. So maybe today would have been all about milking the cows, and the next Thursday would have been about, I don't know, something else. But next Thursday is going to be all about milking the cows, and that's going to be 45 minutes of that. With her giving, why don't you try? Why don't you try? Yeah, man. So yesterday, I started working on this project. I actually started it in Japan, but I started. There's a couple projects that and somehow, some way, they still exist, because my management of data. Now, I'm good in the sense that I will copy and put it and label it, but then when I run out of space, it's like something got to go. And this project here, I put it on another external hard drive in a folder called stuff. And then next thing you know, when I'm deleting more space, stuff gets deleted. And then it's just like, that's the end of that. Good morning. But I found this piano project where I think I posted a video of me playing the piano, where I was rapping or singing or doing something. But I spent like 3 hours just doing that, from like 3 in the morning, just. So I went in, I took the audio from the video, and some of it was recorded from an H6, and then I chopped it up. I brought it into Logic, and then I chopped it up, exported the chops, and brought the chops into Ableton, and kind of stretched them all to make them all about 90 BPM, or at least loopable. Then I went back into Logic and then I took them back out, and then I'm like, that's a lot of going back and forth. So then I thought, machine, that can do it too. So machine's like a, if you know, you know, and if you don't, just think Music Machine. So I took it out, and I was just trying to remember, because I haven't touched it since, I don't know, maybe a year now. So I started listening to some of my old songs on there, or the last projects that were still there. And I'm just like, did I make that? Like, I was just, because sometimes they have like demos in there, but my drum pattern, my sound, so okay, I made that, but I don't even remember. I just be making beats is easy. It's a sequencing part that'd be a little tedious. Like, there's a joke, you know, producers make 4-bar loops and they're happy with it, but you got to make it into like a whole song, which is maybe 96 loops. 4 bars for the intro, 8 bars for the chorus, 16 for the verse, 8 for the chorus, and so on. So right now, these are just kind of in 4-bar loop, 8-bar loops. But I was really happy with it. Like, I'm just sitting there like, damn. In fact, some of those tracks are going to end up on Moonrock. That's how happy I was with them. It's like, wow, excitement. But since I've been working on the iOS, my iPad, to make beats for the past year, basically when I got the iPad, I kind of stopped using the hardware. But going back to the hardware, like, I feel it's like using iOS devices. There's like a kind of what do you want to say? Like a crutch. You know, they could do a lot. It's tactile, touch and all that, but you know, it's an iOS. There's only so much you can do. Then when you get on the hardware, it's like you're running with weights on, and then when you take the weights off, you could run faster, like that kind of idea. Good morning. So I'm back on the hardware, and I was like, wow. Like on the iOS, I have a limited set of all my sounds. I have a subset of my powerful VSTs, which my computer no longer could run my VSTs. Those are like I got a piano that they modeled after Alicia Keys, right? Sounds beautiful, but when I try to play it, like this, like it's like cracking, like it's really annoying, you know? So, but that's just, I don't need to use that. It's just I bought it and I want to use it. I need a new computer so I could use that VST. But I got other shit. But anyway, so I was just like, having a grand time last night playing all these beats and just getting reintroduced to my old beat machine. But I think that's a good metaphor for life, right? So being home for 6 months, no one's gonna say I was having a great time. But when situation, then I'm gonna be free. Like now I have the weights on. I'm learning how to process dumb shit. I guess grief, you know, all that good stuff. But then I'll be free, man. Like in context. Why are all these people running today? Maybe there's a race. Yeah, there is a race, I think. But are they all running for the race? I don't know. So my therapist said that when she goes out for a jog or a walk, she carries her keys. And she didn't say how she carries it, but the fact that she mentioned it, I think she puts it in between her knuckles to make like a stabby thing. And she's like, I don't go out after dark. I don't, I always go with a buddy. I always park the car in a lit spot. But I'm pretty sure her parent might have said something. And if you see certain types of people, you should run away. I can't say that she said that, but it would fall the advice parents give. Because, you know, parents, different generation. But as I said, I am not out to argue with people. Especially someone that they're basically paid to help me. Everyone else, it takes a lot of restraint to not do that because it's unsolicited. Like my mom told me this, and maybe it's just how I am, but she said if somebody punches you, you should punch him back. Now I don't know if she was saying if Mike Tyson punches you, punch him back. I don't know if that's the scenario she was implying, but in general, someone of the same, and it was about school, whatever. So if someone punches you, punch back. So in the same vein of that logic, if someone is on their high horse and they believe that they enjoy taking people down, then in the same vein, you should take them down. She's like, she didn't say that. Well, she did not say that either. So it's us. And it sucks because I don't want to do that. And I let people have shit. Like, what I think of? I mean, again, it's not my aim to ever do this. But it's like within reach. Actually, it's not even like a stinky person comes up to you and they're like, man, I feel like a bug jumped on my nose. Yesterday, a bee or something with a stinger smacked me in the head. Like I was just flying. And I was like, ah! Because I don't want to get stung in the middle of my face or in my eye. But luckily, I was able to do what I do. And I was like, boom. And then no issue. But yeah. Yeah. So, what is that? Looking like a bee. Yeah. Some stinky person is like, yeah, walking up to you, telling you, it's like, get you stink. But not that a stinky person can't have great sense of character. It could be a rich. I saw this the other day. There was this black kid, and he was like complaining. He was just speaking his piece. I don't know what he was doing, because I only seen a clip of it. But he was basically saying he's tired of hood people saying that he shaming him because he came from a affluent background. And he said it this way. He's like, people are always making fun of me, but why would I want to live or talk like you? This is like hood people. My parents were wealthy. My car note, you couldn't even afford it. It costs more than your house. The job I have, you're not even qualified to get it. And he was saying it that way. And I get it. Well, I don't get all that. And I wouldn't go about that way. But I get it. But it doesn't matter, because it's one of those theological arguments. What is the purpose of being alive? What is the purpose? I would say. I love this one. I can't wait till I use it out in the wild. Be like, yeah, but what is a theological issue? I think I'm saying it right. I got to practice it so I can say it smooth. But I saw another video, and the guy's like, people who use big words, and he was making fun of them. It was like, you do if you do, and you do if you do. But, yeah. But, you could say, what's the purpose? There's a time and a place. I mean, I met a kid, little smart honors kid, when I was over in Japan. And he, for whatever reason, wanted everyone to feel small and stupid. Like, he was into, like, computer science. Really smart. Like, he came out from California, got a scholarship to come out to Japan. One of those kids. And I was asking, so what do you do? And he's just like, clearly going over my head with it. It's like, okay, whatever. If that's how you want to do it. Me, I try to simplify shit to anyone. Like, I don't think anything is that difficult. You just got to break it down. Keep breaking it down. Break it down to, like, the essence, the purpose. The theological. I don't know if it's theological. Tiamat? I can't remember. Good morning. Oh, yeah. So the conversation I had with the therapist is like, yeah, it's interesting because certain races are more likely to say hello than others. And we were having some conversations like, really? What do you mean? I said, well, there's some people who, like, literally are staring at you in the face until you make eye contact, and then they're like, hey! And then there's other people who, they're not doing much until you're right next to them, and then they kind of, hey! And then there's other people who, but then there's one race of people who every time I want to say like 80% of the time, they do not smile, they just look down and walk a little faster. And I don't know, it's the first time on this trail for 6 months or 5 months. You notice shit, the patterns. And then she started giving me here a speech about, well, some people just feel, it's danger, and that's why I carry my keys, and I got a little thing of mace, and I thought it was funny because everything she's doing is because, and then she said her mom told her to do it this way, and that's how she was raised. But what if you were raised to be suspicious of everyone? Which I was. I remember growing up, my brother, and then my mom would say, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. What the way to live the life. Now I'm here and I'm just like walking like I gotta be careful. Because the news is just all out to scare you, man. Every time you hear people getting shot, stabbed, shot, stabbed, raped, stabbed, shot. And if it ain't those people, it's the police shooting you, beating you up for what? And then if it ain't the police beating you up, or people beating you up or robbing you, or taking catalytic converters out of your car and shooting you for trying to stop them from getting their money. It's random kids on rooftops shooting at people because they're bored. Like, shoot cans. That's what we used to. Well, I never did, but you know, why would I? So yeah. It's a little different times, but growing up, that's what I always heard, and I kind of rejected it. And I'm all right. I ain't running around saying hit me. But to get out of that program, like, I would challenge the therapist. Why don't you? And this is one of my things I love doing. I don't have the means to pull it off because I just don't. But people tell me it's so easy to do whatever they're thinking I should be able to do. Oh, it'll be so easy. But if that's how you were crafted, how you came to be, it's not that easy. And even though it might be easy for you, like me getting on stage, or even just me making a video like this, it's hard. People just, usually when you start recording yourself or your voice, it's like, I don't like the way I look. I don't like the sound of my voice. But newsflash, that's how you always sounded to everyone else. This is the first time you seeing yourself. I've been doing this before YouTube. I had a little 8mm video camera, and I would sit in my room and do this without a shirt on. Just but so I'd be like, all right, well, let's do this. Let's go on this bike trail, and you're gonna leave your keys, and it's gonna be dark, and you're gonna be all alone. I don't think she could get a couple steps because she's going against everything she learned. And I'm like, no, it's okay. I'm right here. If you need help, holler. I'm hiding in the shadows. So you're safe, but you just don't have your things that make you feel safe. You don't have your programming. NLP, NeuroLinguistic Programming. I picked up the book. Like, I read a lot of books. I picked up that book. I'm not reading that. Not reading that one. But I'm sure there's merit to it, and I'm sure it works for some people. Maybe it would work for me. I just don't want to pick up that book. But yeah. But where we at here? We're at 47 minutes. Yeah. But yeah, man, I as I always say, man, I love doing my little walk and talks. I mean, contrary to beliefs, before I was even videotaping them, I was doing them anyway. That's what I do. I walk and talk, either to myself, to the trees, take pictures of the birds and the bees, let my mind go at ease. So when I went in for the interview to do overnight stocking at Giant supermarket, the guy said, if you have any experience doing this kind of job, what experience does one need to put items from a crate into a shelf? But I said, I used to do this in Walmart. All right, he got experience. Okay. Another question they asked, they said, are you a people person? I said, yeah. I said, just like that. Yeah? What do you mean people person? Am I talkative Ted? No. I can't think of any more. Am I talkative Ted? No. Am I boasty Barry? I can't think of it. But no, I'm not the person who's going to walk up to people and be like, hey, nice weather we got there. Because I'm going by the golden rule of Matthew. It's not a golden rule, but treat people how you want to be treated. Good morning. Treat people how you want to be treated, right? So if I was shopping, I don't want anybody, I don't want talkative Ted to come over to me and start talking about shit. I'm shopping. I don't need whatever you got. I don't need what you're selling. So I believe I'm like, if I saw someone bleeding over there, maybe they want to be bleeding over there. Okay, maybe that's not a great example. I would go over here and call for help. Okay, that's different. Danger stuff, but like if I see someone running, like there's a bunch of college looking type Well, there's a bunch of women running. Now, if I'm running, if that's my thing, I do not want to slow down to have a conversation with some random person. Now, if they're like, hey, I see you all the time on the trail, what are you doing? That's one thing. That's another thing. Although they are interrupting me, but it'll be great for the video because it's still going to be on. It'll be oh, I'm on the video. Oh my God. Real life shit, you know? But so in that instant, boom, he asked the question, are you a people person? I'm thinking of all these scenarios which will get you in trouble because they're like, this guy cannot answer questions. I'm on my Doctor Strange tip without the shaking head and floating, just thinking of all these permutations, permutations. I think I do that when I rap, but really quick. So thinking of, I'm going to the store, and right there, the words that rhyme with store: whore, door, door, floor, shore, or, more, and then working backwards to make it into I'm going to the store, I need a lot more, but then knowing that doesn't make sense, and then just, I'm going to the store, I seen the whore, for sure, she was what? But then that storyline, I don't start off with the whore, but I'm doing that in like real time, which is pretty impressive. I just can't do normal conversations in real time because I don't know the purpose, the theological, like when people ask me a question, are you asking because you really care about me? Like if I say, someone's like, why don't you get a shave? And I say, because I don't have any money. Are you gonna give it to me? Are you asking that reason? Just saw a little mouse. Hey, little mouse. Or are you trying to make me feel bad? Like, is that your purpose? Or do you genuinely care? Because you've been where I was and you want to... I never know what people are coming at me. My questions are just, I just don't know. That's why I'm asking. All right. Today was the first day of school in my area. Seeing little kids go off to school brings memories. See, there's a school bus. Another school bus. I'm actually wearing my Easton shirt. Is our little mascot. Oh man. Supposed to get some rain because it is hot. Bum, 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 bum. Oosh. So coming down here, right? I passed the the house, but the car smelled like weed. There was a bunch of people in the car smoking weed at 7 in the morning. I guess you smoke weed whenever you're gonna smoke weed. I guess. I go across the street. I can still smell it. It was just like, in Pennsylvania, it's illegal. But I don't know what the rules are, because growing up, fireworks were kind of public nuisance, right? If you lit off fireworks, cops would come and like harass you. But this summer, it seemed like every block, every corner, someone's like lighting off fireworks. And no cops came. It's just kind of like that, maybe. Who's gonna bust people for smoking when everybody smokes? Don't know. But anyway, we're gonna end this video right here because cars are coming and it might be a little loud. Although no cars are coming. It's not loud. Okay, the first car that comes, we're gonna... I spoke too short. Oh, we're on that thing. But yeah, thanks for watching. Check out the live stream tonight. And yeah, peace.